It was so hot, I was sweating spice. I've never sweated it before. And so my sweat was spicy. And so I was dying in a Las Vegas hotel room. And every time the cramps would hit, I would just be like, it would like the kind of cramps that take you out of your chair where you fall to the ground. And I'd be like in a pile of sweat on the ground dying, and then that spice would be sweaty. And then it would leave me alone for 15 minutes and then back on. And then that was the next 36 hours of my life.
Welcome to Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers. I'm Spike.
And I'm Zac.
Today we're talking with Brian Ambs. Hi, Brian.
Hey, how are you guys?
Welcome to the shit show.
Thank you very much for having me. I think I swear to you, I'm your biggest fan of this show. I listen religiously.
Yes, that's awesome.
That makes me happy, actually.
To be honest, I didn't think I was ever going to care about a hot sauce podcast, and then I listened to yours, and I'm not just saying it because I'm on it right now, but I genuinely love this show, and I've listened to every episode.
It's a beautiful dynamic between Zac and me.
You've had some great guests too. You guys are fantastic together, but you guys have really nailed picking the guests too.
Yeah, we've had we've gotten really lucky, and it's been a lot of fun. I think we could talk to anybody though, and anybody that's interested in hot sauce. The dynamic is interesting because as I've said before, I'm kind of removed regionally and I'm not in the hot sauce loop like a lot of people are. Sure. Zac is, and then usually anybody else we have in most cases is either further removed or is in it and has something to give with Zac. So it really works out well.
Yeah, this is like Christmas morning for me. I'll talk about hot sauce all day long, every day. So I am very much so looking forward to this conversation.
What got you into hot sauce and spicy food?
God, dude, that's like one of the hardest questions. I don't know. Like I can't like pick a moment in my life that. Like I'm from Buffalo, New York. Like I was originally that's where I was born, So like I grew up around, like my dad was a huge chicken wings guy. So like I grew up around like those buffalo wings in my whole life, like Frank's Red Hot. Like that's probably like the sauce that's been in my house my whole life,
Yep.
So it's just always been a part of my life. But then I got more passionate about it more recently since then. But I mean, I was just raised on, spicy food and things like that.
And you started your channel 6 years ago, am I correct?
I had to look back. 2017 was like the first like legitimate video. It was the Pocky One Chip Challenge with like a slice of Reaper on it. Was like the first video that I filmed with intent.
With Andy.
Yeah, with Andy. And that was just like, I just filmed it because I thought it would be funny. Like, I wasn't like trying to start like a spicy food channel or anything. I'm just like, all of my friends were making YouTube videos, and I was like literally the only person who didn't have a YouTube channel. So I was like, I should probably do something here. And so I was like, what do I like? I was like, I like spicy food. And I think the Pocky One Chip Challenge just came out. We got really lucky on that one because we should have like cramped really hard or should have had a really bad time. But we like miraculously got out pretty unscathed for that because that thing was a gut bomb.
Well, you look like you ate because I just watched it. You look like you ate a whole pint of ice cream right there. I think that might have helped.
That was definitely my go-to at the beginning of my channel. That was definitely the go-to. And that did help. It's been a while since I watched that video. I forgot I used to do that all the time.
Yeah. It was almost an ice cream channel.
I know, right? Practically.
How did you and Zac come together to make your hot sauces and talk about them a little bit?
Oh, we skipped something here, buddy.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. Tell us about the skateboarding business.
We can talk about skateboarding for sure. Okay,
so that's another passion of yours, correct?
I have like 5 jobs that I do, and the skateboard companies are definitely one of them, and that's kind of like the precursor for how I started my YouTube channel. So Andy Schrock, my business partner, he's got multiple massive channels. I think so he's got 5.5 million subscribers on his main channel, and then he's got his channel he does with his son that's got like over 2 million subscribers. And so years and years ago, this is like back in 2011, I think, is when we actually started Revenge Skateboards at the time. And he was selling skateboards, or he was making all his YouTube videos about skateboarding and funny skits. And kids were like, you should make some skateboards. And so he did the thing where, bought 50 skateboards, sold them, bought 100, sold them, bought 150, and just kind of went on that route. And then eventually it got to a point where he needed some help. And I grew up with the guy and I've known him my whole life. And so he's like, hey, Brian, will you come and help me like run this company? And so I helped him out. And then we like actually had to like get legit, get like an LLC and like make like an actual company. and like trademark things. And then we learned that like Revenge Skateboards, we couldn't trademark it because there was a conflict there. So we had to change the name to Revive Skateboards. So we did that in 2013. So we just had our 10-year anniversary. And then we've got a couple other companies. We launched Force Wheels and 3 Block Skateboards. And then we've got a line of children's clothing that kids get really excited about. And
That's awesome.
stuff. So, yeah.
You do wear a lot more hats than I was aware of.
Yeah. And then I was a professional photographer in a formal life. So I've got a degree.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a degree in photography, so thankfully I'm very thankful for that because photography is very expensive, and so I do all the photography in house for everything. So I do that. So the popularity of all the YouTube stuff basically was like I didn't want to like miss the boat on YouTube and making videos, and I just kind of fell into the hot sauce world, and it's like one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Yeah, I saw a few of your videos where you are leaning more in the photography area, and I really liked them a lot. So if you do more,
in the very beginning, I was kind of just trying to find my niche and kind of see what people were excited about and things, you know. So I was just kind of like throwing all my interests at the board and then kind of seeing what could stick and, you know, production and costs and all that kind of stuff. And what could I physically produce that would make sense?
You know, it's funny. I've got no background in that at all, but I will watch those videos, the photography videos on YouTube, like while I'm working all day long.
That's good.
Have you seen Brian's video? Was it Day on the Lines or whatever?
Oh, Day on the Lines, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I have.
You should go. It's on his hot sauce channel, oddly enough. But yeah, it's just him doing a 26.2 mile trek.
No, that was a 61 mile trek.
Oh, sorry, 61 mile trek.
Yeah.
Wow.
In a different side of me, like if anything is skateboarders and people that really enjoy hot spicy food, we're all a bunch of freaking weirdos, you know.
Yeah.
And
100%.
so I got a lot of stress and anxiety in my life, and so I use ultra running as a gigantic outlet. So I do like crazy, like 100-mile runs and with insane elevation stuff, like all the time.
Oh my gosh, that stuff's so I did something with no training similar back in 2011.
Okay.
I was in college and we did a protest march. It was 107 miles in 4 days.
Awesome.
So with no training, we were doing like 25, 20 to 27 miles a day. And that was awful.
Yeah, it's super, super hard.
In the middle of February in Massachusetts, man. Oh,
yeah, basically the dumber the run possible is the thing that really interests me, and the longer that I can be out.
That's awesome.
Brian has been to Tucson twice now to film the bottling of some products.
Yeah.
Both times less than 24-hour trips. I drop him off at the hotel, and this crazy bastard is up at 3 o'clock in the morning out running in Tucson before I pick him up to go bottle sauce.
Oh gosh, you know. You should pick up and he was just not that far away. Mishka, my buddy Mishka Chubali, you'd really like check out his books.
I will.
Yeah, he got sober running.
I have a book I can send you. 100%.
Yeah, please do.
He does. He's got one called The Long Run. He got sober through running.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
He's a good dude.
I had high blood pressure. That I didn't know, like undiagnosed high blood pressure. It's a family thing. Yeah. And so I quit drinking in January to do this run that was in March, and my blood pressure went way down. And I talked to my doctor about it, and she's like, you should probably just stop doing that. So I quit drinking too. So I'm also a little sober guy. So 10 months.
Oh, wow.
Months, yeah.
Awesome.
You wanna go down memory lane, Brian, and
we can go down memory lane. You can probably know the story better than I do of how we met, because this is how it's gonna go. I'll start at I'll attempt to start at the beginning. You can fill all the holes in it because Zach has got a way better memory than me. So I believe that Zach basically just sent me product to try to do a review. And Zach honestly I don't think he sends a ton of product to a bunch of like YouTube people and whatnot.
I don't.
So I don't know how Zach ever found my channel or whatnot, but he sent me some sauce and I did a video. And it was kind of one of these things where we started talking like probably via Instagram, and he just never left me alone. And it became like Instagram friends, basically, where he would just like sometimes like somebody will send me some sauce and like we'll talk about the video, and did I miss anything? Did I screw something up? Like, I hope I did the sauce justice. And it was like, the things that, I hit the points that you feel are what your sauce represents. And normally the conversation ends there. And then with Zac, that just never stopped. And he just kept on talking to me. And we basically became friends. And then when my father passed away, he like wanted to make this benefit set for my father. And like, me and Zac did not know each other very well. He was just doing this out of the kindness of his heart. And ever since then, Zac and I have been much closer since that went down.
I bet. Yeah. And that explains Zac right there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's done that like a million times over since then.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, Zac, you were just killing it with kindness, man.
Hey, man, I haven't always, not that I'm in a position to be helping everybody, but if this benefit set that we release every year can help somebody else, then I'm going to do it. Like this year,
good juju, man.
So there's a
out.
member of the spicy community. His wife was just diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer, and this year's benefit set is going to help them.
That's amazing.
That's great. I like doing benefit sauces. We've done a couple now. We do one every year for the Trevor Project, and then we also did one for Fair Idaho during COVID. And I'd like to bring that one back at some point. But Fair Idaho, they take care of like restaurants and restaurant people, agriculture, and just basically as an advocate for the restaurant and agriculture in Idaho.
That's great.
And we really needed it, man, bad.
Yeah, I worked in the restaurant industry for a very, very long time, so
yeah,
I understand.
Can you imagine it during COVID? Oh man,
no, I can't fathom it. I was out of the industry when COVID hit. I can't even fathom.
Yeah, I would go in because we bottle at a restaurant. I would go in and just would be this restaurant that was busy all the time was just a ghost town because nobody could come in, and it was they were doing business out of the front door, just for people to go, and that was it. It was just wild
craziness, absolute craziness.
Yeah. So what made you decide to want to make a hot sauce with high desert?
I didn't want to make a hot sauce, and I told a lot of people that many times. I had no interest in ever making a hot sauce because I always thought there was going to be a conflict of interest for my YouTube channel. Like slinging sauce and then reviewing sauce simultaneously. There's definitely a conflict there. So that's why whenever I do one of Zac's sauces, I always say in the very beginning of the video, I just want, like, I promise you I'm going to give you my honest opinion, but at the same time, I want to let you know that High Desert makes my sauce, and so I want people to understand that there is a little bit of a relationship there. So I mean, like, a couple people before Zac had approached me, nothing serious, but they were like, hey, if you ever want to make a sauce, you hit me up, let me know, we can do that. And then it's just one of those things where like Zac never left me alone, and then I love his sauce. His sauce is delicious, and he doesn't put any fucking garbage in his sauce. Like, the ingredient lists are super clean, and I love the sauces. And so we were talking one day, and maybe I was just feeling frisky that day or whatever, but I was like, hey man, if you want to make a sauce, we can do this, but I want it to be like very specific, and it's got to have all of the things that I love in sauce in one bottle. And so if I just give you like 6 or 7 ingredients, and then I tell you what I want it to be like, and then you can build the rest, then we can do this. And so I gave him like the ingredients that like these have to be in the sauce, and I want it to be a taco sauce, and I want it to be around this heat scale. Then if we can figure this out, then absolutely. And then he made Ghost of Saffron, and
that's a great sauce.
And thankfully people have really enjoyed it. So
really great sauce.
I mean, I agree, but I agree because it's built for me, because it just has everything that I love in sauce in one bottle, basically. Yeah. So it's a very specific, very personal sauce to me, and I'm just happy that everybody else likes it too.
I've got it in my kitchen. I can't do it as for our show and tell though.
I appreciate it.
How long did you have to bother me about this fucking mole before I finally agreed to do it?
I just kept bringing it up every once in a while. That's a hard one because, like, how many people have said, like, I don't even know what mole was, and then I had it and I love this sauce. And I mean, there is a reason why I wanted to make Ghost of Saffron a taco sauce. It's because everybody loves tacos, and and I knew that it was gonna sell well, and because people love tacos. And if you make a really a brand, like a sauce that's branded towards something that everybody loves, and you put really good ingredients in it, it's going to do well. And so I was terrified to make a mole because nobody knows what a fucking mole is. Like, no one knows what the style of sauce is, and it's such a specific sauce, and it's kind of bitter, and it's super complex, and it's hyper savory for the most part. And and I was like, we're gonna put coffee in it, making it even like more bitter, more savory. So it's like, it's a very, very niche sauce, but it's like my favorite thing in the world. And so I just kind of, was hoping that we could make it and toss it out there and people were going to really enjoy it. And the people that have gotten it have really liked it, I think. And Zach did a really good job with it.
He
So
did. He
I'm
did a
very
great
I'm
job.
proud of the sauce. But that was basically Ghost of Saffron. I had a lot of input on the stuff that I wanted to have in it. On Cafe Mole, that is almost 100% Zach, other than the heat level, the consistency, the look of it, and the addition to coffee and how that balance worked. The rest of the ingredients, it's all Zach, basically.
I love the smell of it. When as soon as you
Yeah.
open it, you smell the chocolate.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, oh, and we both have we have a black coffee mole, which you've
Mhm.
reviewed, I think.
Yeah.
And I like that we went more coffee and he went more on the chocolate.
Mhm.
So we leaned way in on the coffee, and we were just talking about this on the last podcast, but it's two takes on the same thing, and I love them both for completely different reasons. It's great.
Yeah, there's a couple good ones out there. Hole Mole that Karma used to do. I
Oh.
think
Well,
they
they still make
do
it. They still make it.
So before we get off of moles, I need to tell you, I'll be sending, now this is not very hot, and I know you like a lot of heat, but I'm going to be sending this to you along with a set. It's
Is it the green mole?
It's the
It
green
is
mole.
the green
yeah.
mole.
I have the green mole. That's
Oh,
the
that's
one
right. You ordered one, didn't you?
Yeah, I bought it. That I'm doing a video. It's gonna come out next Sunday.
Oh, it's already almost sold out.
I know, but
That's
but
that's
I got
all right.
I got two other sauces that are going to be in it, so it's going to be a 3-part video.
Awesome. Well, we've got a 4-pack of premium sauces coming out, and I was going to send you. I've got a set number of people I'm sending one of those to,
cool.
and so you'll get that. But all of those sauces are going to be sold out probably before. I'm only doing 50 of those premium packs.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah. If I send something to you, it's not for a review. It's just unless you want to. It's more for.
I mean, I genuinely really enjoy your sauces, so I would probably
you.
taste them in a video on live. So
Awesome. Thank you. What is, in your opinion, the most important element of a hot sauce review?
that is a super hard question.
It is.
I think so. I don't even like. I'm almost okay with calling myself a reviewer now. Almost. I've always called them just like hot sauce videos. Like I don't like. I think when you say the word reviewer, there's a sense of professionalism or a sense of like certification that would come with that. You know, like I have no certifications. I'm just a guy with no background at all, eating sauce on the internet, giving their opinions. You know, like I'm not classically trained in any of it. And so I look at it as that if this sauce has been created, that it's been created because somebody actually enjoys that sauce and they made that recipe because they like it. So I try not to like completely come down. If I don't like a sauce, it generally comes across in the video that I generally will not say negative things about the sauce, but I will focus on positivities in the sauce that I find. Or if I really enjoy the sauce, you'll really know that I enjoy the sauce. Like I'll like chug out of the bottle if I really like it. It's normally pretty obvious if I'm like the sauce is okay or the sauce is not bad. But I don't crap or shit on a sauce because there is a level of enjoyment, generally speaking, from somebody out there at least. But I think our job or my job is just to tell people what the sauce is like, what it looks like, what it smells like, what it tastes like, and articulate what that experience of that sauce is in the most concise and entertaining way possible. So that's what I try to do in every video, because if I don't like it, somebody else is going to love it. And if I love it, somebody else is going to hate it. And so it's not necessarily my opinion to say that I love every sauce or I hate every sauce or whatever. It's just to give you the information and then you can make a judgment call yourself if it's a sauce that has ingredients that sound good to you.
Yeah.
And so if I can make the dictionary definition of what this sauce is visually and verbally, like that is kind of what I'm trying to go after in the most entertaining and high quality way possible, basically.
I love that when you do your reviews, you include consistency of the sauce, things like that a lot of people don't. They don't talk about, what a sauce looks like when it's coming out. They don't get a close up of the sauce, things like that.
Consistency
I love that you do that.
Super important to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like from a personal level, like sauces that I enjoy, like that's like one of the defining characteristics of what I look for in a sauce. If I'm personally going to be eating it.
Yeah, me too.
The consistency of our sauces have evolved over the years due to Brian's reviews.
Oh, that's nice.
Your reviews have influenced us. First of all, the size of the bottle. So it says a hot sauce inspired by the unique flavor of green mole in combination of roasted tomatillos, blah, blah, blah. Goes on and on. I didn't have any of that. We only had our mission statement on the bottles. You mentioned it every time you reviewed, and now we've added it to all of our 8-ounce bottles.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, consistency is extraordinarily important. And there's a lot of things that I think that should be on like hot sauce labels. When someone picks up a bottle for the first time, you should know everything you need to know about it just by looking around it. And there's so many times where I've like tasted a sauce where I'm like, I wish that this information would have been on there. You know, you have to have like inside the book jacket of a book. You got to hit those points just to let people know what they're getting themselves into, basically.
It's hard. It's a hard thing to do because we still don't do it on our 5-ounce bottles, only because the real estate on there, as soon as you start filling it up with more stuff.
Oh, I know.
And you have to have all the contact information on there, you know, just you want them to come to your website. You don't want to have them walking around with your card all the time. So you got to make that clear and you got to make this clear, and it becomes very difficult. So
it's hard.
As soon as we made the move to 8-ounce, I was like, we got room. We're doing it. And thank goodness AI started right then. So I started asking AI to help me describe them. I gave me some extra words because you keep saying the same thing over and over when you're starting to describe these things. It's like, man, what other word is there for savory? You know,
that's amazing.
I use the thesaurus a lot when I'm writing descriptions.
I will put all the ingredients in it and say, Chat GPT, describe this sauce, and it'll describe it. And then once it describes it, I go through and change everything, but it's given me like the blueprint, like, okay, that's bullshit and that doesn't work. But
I'm afraid of AI, so I'll just
That's a good idea. That's a
doing
good
it
idea.
the hard way.
It's a good idea. I like that.
So yeah, and I'm really happy to see, at least the last couple of videos, I've noticed that you've been tasting the sauce before.
Yeah, Zac told me that was your recommendation, and then I heard it in a podcast when that podcast came out. And so I'm playing with it right now because I have to do this freaking dance back and forth. At the end of the day, I have to make entertaining videos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it does no help for the industry or for me if nobody watches this stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So
and if it doesn't work, like, no hard feelings. Seriously.
Yeah. So I'm like, let's do it backwards because that is absolutely the best way to review something, 100%, because there's no outside influence. And so I'm not influenced because I've read the ingredients first. And it's actually terrifying because when I'm doing it, I'm like, I can screw this up, and I'm supposed to be like this professional that knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And so there's all this room for error to be screwed up. I've only done it on 2 videos now, I think 2 or 3. And thankfully I haven't made any like huge laxes in judgment there, but it's legit. I haven't looked at the ingredients on either of those, but I absolutely prefer it because it kind of makes you focus a little bit harder, and you're searching more for the flavor profiles, the ingredients, and you're paying attention to how the sauce feels in your mouth and the chew and the consistency and what kind of burn is going on and why could this burn be happening. I think further development of the palate can still happen, and it's still hard to get some of those spices.
Well, and one of the things that got it was you were reviewing actually our black coffee mole, and we had the word, and it's my fault, I actually changed it because of you again, the word ketchup on there. It actually isn't ketchup. What it is it's our ketchup, like we made it, and because it's something we make that goes in several sauces, we'll make it, put it aside, and then put it in. But I put the word ketchup on there, and the other.
I was going to say that I definitely did that video with my buddy Justin then because he hates ketchup.
Could not even stand it because when you read the ingredients, he was like ketchup, and it was off. But it was like he's thinking Heinz. It's not Heinz at all.
Yep, that's absolutely right. Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
I'm going to send you a bottle of we've got a bottle of ketchup. It's a porcini mushroom, roasted red pepper, and tomato ketchup that I made.
Absolutely incredible.
I hate ketchup.
I'm also not a ketchup fan, and there is a bottle of that in our refrigerator.
It's great to know. Because as I've been eating more sauce over the years, I'm actually gone away from ketchup too. Like hot sauce is now ketchup to me, you know. Yeah, and I'll just go with more of like a table sauce. It's like a little bit sweeter, and that's basically ketchup now, you know. So I look forward very much to trying it because you don't really get some like legit good ketchups, you know, very often.
Yeah.
Do you have in your opinion, worst hot sauce, like something that you've tried and you'll never go back to or purchase or?
Yeah, I do. And it's nice because I'm not going to say what the company is, but the company's no longer in business, but it is because after I made the video, the owner of the company joked with me too. And this is a long time ago. And it was like almost like a farmer's market sauce. Like it was a one-off. I don't know if it ever like fully came to like commercial release. And this company used to make so many sauces. He probably had 150 sauces under their label.
Wow.
Over the years, not all one time. But it was a white sauce and had a thicker consistency, so you get the gist of where that would what it kind of looks like.
Mayonnaise
It
base.
was a Bartlett pear sauce with extract in it, and it was kind of sweet, and it was the most foul thing I've ever tasted in my life. It was awful. It was bad. It was very, very bad.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah, so yeah, it was about Bartlett pear and extract.
And I'm
So-
not a fan of anything. When you put extracts in, there's a place for extracts. And I don't think that every sauce that has extracts in it is bad, but for the most part, it doesn't really add anything but heat.
I agree with you.
You
What
need that extra
about-
flavor.
What about your favorite? Well, maybe not favorite, but what is the best hot sauce that if you can pinpoint?
Or the most surprising.
That's an impossible question, but I did see that one coming. And so after I do videos, if the sauce really blows me away, it immediately goes to this little refrigerator that sits next to my desk. And that's what I'm going to be eating on the daily basis. So I'm just going to grab like 4 bottles out of this refrigerator real quick. And
that's
maybe
great.
we can break down. Let's see what I got here.
It's all currently Ghost of Saffron and Cafe.
There's 2 bottles of Cafe Mole and Ghostly Prick in there. But so what do we got here? So this is Gunlove's Gold. This is from Hologi. This is a sweeter sauce. It's like a passion fruit sauce.
I got to try some of their stuff.
The Blister Shishito garlic sauce. This is new on the new hot ones. This is outrageously mild. It's basically like a salad dressing. Guavanero by Revolutionary and Hot Llamas. This is like a hot tamale. This is like a tikka masala kind of sauce, kind of similar to yours, Zach, but different.
Awesome.
Can you see the look on my? Can you see the look on my face right now?
Yes, I can.
Just kidding.
It's a peach peanut whiskey ghost pepper sauce.
Ooh.
It's super, super tasty. If you haven't had Hot Llamas, they do good stuff. They're from Covington, right across the river from me.
Oh,
I'm gonna
nice.
have to
They're
check
newer,
them out.
really good. So, like I said, I can't tell you the best sauce. The best sauce is what works best with the meal that you're eating. I don't know. I tend to go for more flavor forward sauces, and in my opinion, I would say like honestly more mild sauces. But because I'm a pretty liberal saucer,
Right.
so I use a lot of sauce on my meals. I'm not, Thor's hammer's not going on every meal for me, but there's a time and place for everything.
So what's your favorite pepper?
I got a bunch. On the super hot side, I like ghost peppers the most for sure. I also like chocolate bootlas. On the super hot side, on the more mild side, I love Scotch bonnets and lemon drops are probably my favorite like eating peppers and flavor peppers.
Yeah.
But when it comes to heat, I like ghost peppers and I like chocolate bootlas.
I think Ghost is really, really good. I think for making hot sauce, the best pepper is the habanero, obviously, but just in general, the best pepper is Ghost.
That's why I said Scotch bonnets. I like the combination of Scotch bonnet and ghost pepper because they burn so differently, and you can really play with the burn with those two because they attack in completely different places of the mouth.
That's interesting. I'm actually working on a sauce right now with Scotch bonnets, and I might add a little bit of Ghost to that.
Yeah, Scotch bonnets are going to be all tongue. It's going to be that stabby stuff, and then the ghost pepper is going to be all back of the throat. But for me, it doesn't affect my stomach, and so I don't have to worry about like going too hard on ghost and cramping or something like that. They generally leave me alone. So yeah, you can just kind of play with that ratio and get the burn that you're looking for, and it can either be super complex or it can really hurt people depending on what you want to do.
Awesome, that's really cool.
Yeah, as Brian learned on Sunday. Well, whatever he filmed the video for Sunday.
Oh, the peri peri sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Friday. I had a rough Friday. I filmed 2 videos on Friday, and I got beat up pretty good on Friday.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet. We talked last night about it, Zach and I did, and I still haven't had a chance to watch it.
I mean, he gave it the same heat rating as the new Last Dab, so it's pretty freaking hot.
Awesome.
It's hot. It's hot. It's too hot in my opinion, but it's super hot. People are gonna love it. It'll sell.
Yeah,
but,
no, I mean it is. You know how it is, man. You get those people that nothing ever hot enough. So
I know, and you fulfilled that for them. They have that.
Yeah, you just got to keep something like that in the repertoire.
Absolutely.
So labels, I love labels, man. One of my biggest disappointments is if it's a shitty sauce. Either way, if it's a shitty sauce with a great label or a great sauce with a shitty label, both of them are.
Not agree with you more.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of labels. Like you actually have some of the best labels. Yeah. I love yours.
Thank you.
Because yours are they're kind of like organized chaos. And I love that about them because there's like so much happening on them, but at the same time, it has all the information you want.
Thank you.
So You got to find the ingredients. You got to find like what the hell is the sauce I'm about to eat? Like, what is the mission statement of the sauce? A heat rating is super important. I mean, it can be accurate to your brand or whatever, but like, just give me a little bit of insight on what I'm getting myself into if I'm going to be tasting it for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think that's super important.
The 4 or 5 pepper thing, I like that when people do that. I don't do it, but a lot of people do.
Yeah, you know, making sure it's in focus, like having a printer that you can read the shit, like, is super. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves. Is like when I'm trying to do a video and I'm looking at the sauce, like, you know, I can't see what, because the label's so shitty that you can't read what's on it. Like, I hate that. That drives me insane. I've had to like refer to like their website to get them like ingredients because they're so small, things like that.
We actually just changed the style of our nutrition panel so that it's easier to read the ingredient list, because
There you go.
you know, even though our ingredient lists aren't very long, it's just everything was so condensed.
Absolutely.
Couldn't
And then
do it.
so I also like labels that stand out on a shelf, like kind of paying attention to like, is this one wholesale account? Are they gonna carry the whole brand? Or are they just gonna carry one bottle? And what does it look like on the shelf? And so when you're walking past it, like, does it draw your eye to you? And so sauces that like really draw your eye, I think, are super, super important.
That was the hardest thing for us at the beginning, because I was insistent on, I didn't want to have the same label every time, but my wife got me to do, we call this the label plate, or the logo plate. I don't know what it really is called, but that's what we call it, the logo plate. That helped distinguish each one, along with, except our red eye, which we are discontinuing anyway. So
that's a good sauce.
well, you're going to get a,
Rebranding.
we're rebranding. It's we're doing a premium version. It's going to be called Queen of Pirates now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you'll get a bottle next week.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Where are we at now?
$100.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about this. So
I'll talk to this would be good to talk out live, because all right, let's just get into it. And because I have opinions and not opinions simultaneously. So,
well, first of all, let's talk about the sauce, the really expensive sauce that you bought.
Oh, I didn't buy that.
Send it to him, thankfully.
I didn't buy that. I would never in a million years pay that.
Good. I'm glad you didn't. That makes me much happier.
Absolutely. I'm actually wondering if the guy who owns it sent it to me and changed his name, because I don't know who did it. It said like, I can't remember. I honestly don't. I threw away the piece of paper, but it got sent to me, went to my PO box, and it had it was like a letter, like it said like, you know, like, hey, my name's John or something like that, and I watch your videos, and I was able to score a bottle of this, and here it is. And I was like, and at the time I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Because the packaging is pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
And
except for the fact that the one they sent you, the label was crooked as shit.
I know. Drives me nuts. There's so many red flags immediately. I was terrified. Like, I didn't even want to eat it for like weeks until I could figure out a little bit more information. I'm like, is this a prank? I was like, I need to figure out who owns this, who made it, what it came from, what the hell is this? Like, I had nothing. And so,
no information, nothing on the website, no nutrition panel, no. I mean, he was texting me. He's like, do you know anything about this sauce? I'm like, I have no fucking clue. I
asked like for the little hot sauce. I asked them. I posted in there. No one knew anything about it. The only thing I was able to find anywhere was on Reddit, where somebody had posted something, and that's where I learned like what it was. And then just recently, I found out who made the sauce.
Yeah, I just found that out too.
That was a recent revelation. Like, somebody sent it, like maybe commented on the video or something.
Yeah,
and I was able to.
It was me. I trashed him on his YouTube channel.
Well, I said no. I sent that link. I sent that link to you when
yeah, that's right. You did send me that link.
Yeah, I sent you that link. So I had learned about the sauce. Olivia was word. I had learned about the sauce and what was in it and whatnot, but I didn't know who owned it or what the backstory was. But it's just unfortunate, because he's asking a lot of money for a sauce that does not warrant anywhere near that. It's like a $4. It's a well-made habanero sauce, but it's a $4 sauce and a really nice package.
Yeah, and that kills me. So Zac and I are talking about doing $100 hot sauce. It's been something I've wanted to do for a while, but I want to do $100 hot sauce that is worth $100, where the process and the ingredients warrant everything.
I back it. I'm interested in doing that sauce. I've actually had thoughts of doing something like that. Even like when Olivium came out, I was like, this would be really cool if you could do this and it actually warranted it. I'm kind of at a loss in how you would make it and what it would take to do it. But if we can, if a person came up with a way to make it and it had that value legitimately, I think it could be an absolute showstopper. And I would be very interested in it.
We've both have come up with ingredients,
okay,
but that we think will fit, and at least a a basic set of ingredients. But what we haven't come up with is, I feel like there has to be a couple processes in there that also warrant it. You can't just throw a bunch of expensive ingredients together. You need to be able to throw in some processes.
I don't know if you have any capabilities of fire roasting anything, but I mean, it's kind of like a high desert signature. Fire ingredients. I personally haven't lacto fermented anything, but I'm not opposed to attempting. So maybe we could do some fermented ingredients. You know what I mean?
Yeah, both of those sound good. Since we're doing such a small batch, fire roasting is not that hard on a small scale, and we're just doing a small.
Say
batch.
that, man. You say that. But...
Well, I mean, I did work in a restaurant. We did fire roast things, but it's different when you're doing it. You know, you could just put it on a barbecue if you need to. When you're doing a small batch, we're not talking about the size batches we do now.
I think the bottle is going to have to be cool too. I'm not saying expensive. I don't think it needs to be an expensive bottle, but I think it needs to be a different bottle.
I agree.
It needs to be, and make sure it's not an annoying bottle.
This is
you have to be able to pick it up and use it, you know?
Yeah, this is kind of what I was thinking, is because he wants to do $100 hot sauce, and I'm thinking like, this is kind of where I think we're at with it. Like, we're each going to have the same set of ingredients and make our own version of the sauce and then sell it as a set.
That's a great idea.
I love that. It's basically like our moles, you know. I love that.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
So each bottle's worth $50 basically. Yeah. And then the two together is worth 100. I think that's a great idea. You know, like the yin and yang version of it, like two completely different takes on it. Hopefully, and I'm pretty sure
they'll be different.
I mean, I can tell you right out the gate, Zach's going to go spicier and I'm going to go milder.
I think it needs to be like that. Yeah. You know, you want that kind of yin and yang kind of thing going on. You know, I think they should be, you know, kind of wildly different. But I think it's amazing to take the same ingredients, or at least a portion of the same ingredients, and then, you know, go your own separate ways.
Well, no, it'll be pretty much the same ingredient list. Obviously, the order will change, and, you know, like heat levels, they'll be different 100%. Yeah.
We could do, I love talking about this on the podcast too. We could do like different fruits to make it a little bit different. We've talked about a couple different fruits. We could possibly do that, but that's just something to throw out there. That's not like solid.
I'm more intrigued the more I learn about this. I'm excited.
Dark and light or whatever, you know, something.
It's kind of like the mole, man. He's been talking about this damn $100 hot sauce for like 6 months, dude.
I know. I listened to the podcast. You guys talk about it.
What the fuck?
I mean, it's been bugging me for 3 years. It came into my head one day. I want to make $100 hot sauce, but I want to do it right.
I love it.
I just can't. It's just not. There's something missing. Even with the fire roasting, even with the fermentation, there's something else. There's another process, a more culinary influenced process that I'm missing that nobody's done. And I know it's just going to pop in there one day.
Absolutely.
We're going to be ready to rock.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
There we go.
I mean, there's only so much you can do, and you know, when you're bottling hot sauce, man.
Until somebody comes up with something new, and then you're like, holy shit, and it's a whole different new thing, and it's like changes the world kind of thing. I don't know what that is. I'm just spouting random shit, but that's what happens.
It's like yesterday we were talking about the different things to use, because I use xanthan gum, but Zach doesn't. So I'm willing to change that, but I do want to have some sort of stabilizer. So we're looking at different stabilizers, and I'm like, so this sounds good, but I would do it in combination with this. And I bet you nobody's tried those two things together. We should try that. That's where the innovation comes. And that's where things like this drive innovation. I love that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. A good stabilizer. I don't know if it works in hot sauce. I don't know. I eat the sauce. I generally don't make the sauce as much. Something I've been using recently to thicken things called aquafaba. Have you used that?
Never even heard of it.
I've heard of it and I've used it a little bit, but I'm
not sure if people would be afraid of it because it sounds kind of weird, but it's basically when you get canned chickpeas or canned beans, it's the juice from canned beans, and it's a thickening agent. And so a lot of like vegan dishes use that instead of like a xanthan gum, even though I think xanthan gum is vegan, but
it is.
Instead of other,
it's for those anti-gum people.
Sure. Yeah. But like I'm saying, like aquafaba you can't taste it, and it's a great thickener. And it works really well.
Well, the problem with it being a thickener is the thickener and a stabilizer are two different things. And that's where I worry, because we've thickened things a few times early on, and it just separated. And then you get like this thick lump at the bottom. And so I think we're one of the few companies, I don't think of any other company that uses arrowroot we use arrowroot in conjunction with xanthan gum because arrowroot doesn't get affected by acid as easily as most other thickeners. And I like to add just a little bit. It helps the pour.
Okay. Good to know.
So the xanthan gum helps hold it up.
See, these are the things that would be asked. I'd be wanting to learn. The last question you've got is that would be something I'd want to learn in that question. We'll get there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. All right. Do you want to ask? I'm changing this up. I'm totally changing it, Zach.
You're totally changing it? How are you totally going to change this question? Because it's the same fucking question you've asked the last 7 people.
I changed it the last podcast and I'm changing it this podcast. It is, what is your, first of all, this is how we're going to change it. What is your death row meal?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I like that.
And what fucking hot sauce are you putting on it?
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. All right. So death row meal would probably be going to be some sort of taco situation. It's probably going to be like brisket tacos or the carnitas taco that I get every time I see Zach. Like that's like legitimately like a last meal. Sonora tortillas and some sort of taco situation. If it was a death row, I'm coming out of retirement from drinking, so I'll probably have like a nice little IPA on the side of it if that's my last meal. Now, what would the sauce be on it? That is the hardest question on the planet.
And it can't be one of ours.
I know, dude.
Because I know Ghost of Saffron is probably going on those tacos, but that's not the answer you get to give.
I'm gonna go with a sauce. I'm trying to think of exactly what it's called. All right, so I'm gonna go with the sauce because I'm only saying this because this way I can't offend anybody because the sauce doesn't even exist. But a sauce, there's only been a couple sauces in my life where if you've ever been like hanging out with friends or something like that, you're in conversation, you taste something, and then you're like, holy shit, and you like sit down your drink and you're like, what is that I just ate? Because I need to learn immediately more about whatever that is. Oh, yeah. And that was like one of the first times Charman made a sauce. It was a 7-pot honey sauce.
Oh, yeah. The garlic honey.
The garlic honey. It is so freaking delicious. He hasn't come to market with it. He's only ran it a couple times and he gives it to friends and family. And it is so good. It's hot. It's sticky. It's got a great texture. It's a beautiful sauce. It's just an absolutely beautiful sauce.
They make some of the best sauces. There's been a few times I've had their sauces and it's like revelation sauces for me.
And Chris is such an amazing guy. He's like one of the, like when my channel was so tiny, he's like one of the first hot sauce companies that like reached out and like sent me product out of nowhere. Like when I had like, 2,000 subscribers and I'm not going to do anything to help the guy at all. And he's like, and not only did he send me stuff, he sent me like an unbelievable amount of stuff. He's like, here's a case of sauce and 2 hats and a shirt, like an unbelievable amount. It was like the first time I ever got like a product from anybody, and I didn't know anything what I was doing. So he was like one of the very beginning, like the first month of my channel or something. And we've always maintained like a good, like working relationship. He's an awesome, awesome dude. So
yeah, I was literally just thinking about him yesterday. I haven't really seen him too much
because he's not on social media. So he's hard to kind of talk to, so
is he somebody we could get on the podcast, do you think?
Probably.
Yeah, for sure. I'd recommend. He's awesome, dude. But anyways, so his sauce, that's a good way of dancing around that question because it doesn't even exist.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Yeah. Do you like that question better, Zach?
I mean, it's still an impossible question to answer.
It's not because it could be a real world scenario where it's your last meal. You could be.
I mean, it might be given light of current situations.
That's true.
Jesus, Zach.
So hot sauce, hot takes. I know you've got them.
I was thinking about that question. That's two things that I guess I can say. And now I don't know, Spike, I don't know if you have one of those sauces. Zach kind of has one, but he doesn't have one. But I would die a happy man if I never saw another mango habanero sauce for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah.
I'm so good on mango habanero. I understand that it's like if you have a hot sauce company, you have to have a mango habanero. And if you're feeling fancy, you'll make a pineapple habanero or whatever fruit,
I've got pineapple, mango, and banana.
See, but at least you've got a little bit of a twist on it, and banana helps. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so this is me getting as hot takey as I can possibly get.
I totally agree with you, by the way. Absolutely.
I just think that, okay, and it's not necessarily more of a hot take. It's more of it sounds weird to say this, but like a recommendation to hot sauce companies. It's such a saturated market now that you have to be just like, everything's got to be so on point. Like your sauce has got to be delicious. Your labels have got to crush. Your branding's got to crush. Your marketing's got to crush. You got to be doing something so good if you're going to be able to make it right now. And imagine being at a hot sauce festival and you're a customer and you're walking up and you're trying to taste a mango habanero and be like, I've had 92 of these already today.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's not selling sauce, but like a mango habanero that's got banana in it or something like that, like that's different. That's something that's showing personality. Like you got to have personality to your sauce. Like Tim was talking about it last week on your podcast, like that little soundbite that you guys have been sharing all week, talking about the personality of the sauce. Like before you shared it, I was going to screen grab it and share it because I was like, you are nailing this so hard right now of what makes a good sauce. Like you are crushing this.
His answer was one of the best answers I've ever heard.
Oh my God. I couldn't agree with you more. Like the second that I was listening to my car and I'm like cheering him on as he's saying it. I'm like, you are screaming that we should be screaming this from the mountains at all moments in time of like how a sauce to be made. And then I guess my other second hot take would be that hot sauce isn't always and I've been saying this for a long time and people don't watch these videos, but hot sauce isn't always the way to go. And a lot of times it's spicy seasonings and powders are the way to go.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't want hot sauce at all.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of videos on like seasonings and powders and things like that, and people don't watch them and people don't buy them. And like powder on sushi to me is the way to go. That's just like one example. And I think a lot of times
doesn't really change the flavor of the sushi too much.
That's what I'm saying. I think that, and like I'm saying this with love because I'm a huge hot sauce guy, but I think that sometimes that hot sauce can destroy the texture of the food that you're eating, and it's not always the solution. That's the closest thing to a hot take
I like that. That's one of the best hot takes we've had, especially because the hot sauce doesn't belong on everything. I absolutely agree.
Now, does everything need to be spicy? In my life, kind of. But there's
100.
different ways you can do it.
Recently, we did that ketchup, and we're going to do we've got a steak sauce coming out, and I've enjoyed doing a couple of sauces that don't have any heat. It's been kind of nice.
Yeah,
that's been fun.
Yeah.
It's like that challenge. I'm so used to putting heat in everything. You make yourself better when you challenge yourself with something else. Okay, how do I make something that doesn't have any heat in it and make it really good and make people want it and make it original? And that little challenge pushes me better on the hot sauce side. I'm able to make more nuances happen on that side too.
Yeah,
I like. You're not going to do one without any heat, Zach?
What are you talking about? We got fire roasted green. That doesn't.
I was about to say fire roasted green. I mean, that virtually has no heat.
It's my wife loves that. Loves it so much.
That's a sauce. I mean, that's a sauce I can literally use an entire bottle in a meal.
Easy,
not even trying.
And I put it right on top of
home, just dump it on chips. Same with my untraditional mango habanero.
It is untraditional. Yeah, it's got to mango,
Yeah,
I could put the fire roasted green right on an enchilada.
Oh, all day
as the sauce. Yeah, it'd be great.
Absolutely. I made enchiladas for like 15 people this weekend, and I made a verde for it, and Zach's would have been so much better if I would have just had a case of it that I could just sacrifice.
A gallon
of it, because that's what it would have taken.
Do you ever do that? Have you ever bottled yours in larger? Just an off the cuff.
I get requests from Russ, but the way my process letters are written, it specifically states several size glass bottles. It doesn't say shit about plastic. So until I can get new process letters, I'm not even gonna fucking play with it.
We do we do it in glass though. We get the whiskey bottles and we do them in the whiskey bottles.
Yeah.
Have you talked to have customers purchased those glass bottles? Yeah,
we just to restaurants. They'll want them for dishes. We've got a couple like a place called Rico's that does our Pirate's Vacation, the pineapple, mango, and banana.
Gotcha.
They'll do that on wings.
Yeah, that makes sense from a commercial standpoint. Over the years, I've received a few like sauces in gallon form, and they're very hard to manage. Like using a gallon of sauce on like a lunch is really hard to physically use. Refilling a bottle is really hard to physically do. So I think it could work really well on like a commercial standpoint, but for a typical consumer, it sounds like a cool idea. But as soon as you get to like actually trying to do it, it's like, whoa, this is.
We did do wine bottles for a short time for like a Christmas.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
They were unwieldy, and sending them through the mail was like sending bricks through the mail, glass bricks. It was ridiculous because if they broke, it got ugly. So
mild sauces should be in larger bottles a lot of times, I think, too, which completely screws up like food costs and all kinds of. I understand, I get it,
It's not so much food cost; it's the glass cost because.
I get it. When I said food cost, I was more referring to like the margin, just because I get it. Like fire roasted green, like that shit. I mean, like I would love that in a larger like salad dressing style bottle, because I use a whole bottle on a meal,
Yeah.
And so it's just the nature of the beast of the sauce.
Yeah, it more than triples the cost of the glass, and then
I get it.
Shipping's a friggin' issue because obviously you've seen how we ship things. Everything's designed to fit in other things to keep things from breaking.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I totally understand it. I'm just giving opinions on things that aren't necessarily possible.
Yeah, it's tough. It is
I mean,
tough,
if our storage situation was better, I wasn't working out of a shared kitchen space, and we had the storage, it could be a reality. I just can't.
We will sell our sauces to restaurants locally for them to use. We have quite a few, but sometimes we don't have to bottle those any other way. We're doing it in a commercial kitchen, so we can just walk it over to them.
Yeah, there we go.
That works really well.
Small town living, man.
That's it. We just got a new order. Hey, good.
Yeah.
I was like, what's that buzzing? Oh, all right. Hot sauce show and tell. I'm excited about this one.
I am too.
Brian's got a special one.
This is so how's it work? It's I show and tell a sauce.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do, but
we all do.
We start with you.
I just realized that I've never had the original recipe ever, as well. So this is the old Big Fats 708, their 7-pot citrus hot sauce that apparently everybody thinks is like one of the best sauces ever made. And people freaked out when they went out of business and like were trying to like find this sauce whenever possible when they went under. But Heat Hot Sauce Shop bought the rights to the recipe and they re-released it. And so here it is. And so I'm gonna taste it for the first time.
Oh.
So never had it. Have you guys had this?
No.
Okay, we're all three of us have not had it. But this is a sauce, at least for like for the Love of Hot Sauce Facebook group, when they stopped making this sauce, people lost their minds and we're trying to like find it everywhere. Apparently it's amazing. Let me read the ingredients real quick to see if we can figure out what it's supposed to taste like. So orange juice concentrate, onion water, pineapple juice concentrate, and then we're going Trinidad 7 pots, and then garlic, pomegranate molasses, sea salt, coriander, cumin, cinnamon, and white pepper.
Oh, that is quite the ingredient list.
So it says that we're going to get tangy citrus and then a burst of the 7-pot. So it should be vinegar, sweet, and then a bunch of heat should come second.
Can you hold it up again real quick? I just want to see the color. I'm wondering. Oh, that's why they went with the white pepper, because they were trying to go with the color. That's nice. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, it'll ruin your color.
Like the thinner side of medium, I can say. It's kind of a smooth sauce. Like it's very well pureed.
Yeah.
You can see little bits of the 7-pot floating in there, and then it's kind of those spices. So cheers, boys. It's extremely good. Sweet. Did I say cinnamon? Yeah, cinnamon. So you get like sweet cinnamon. It reminds me of almost like oatmeal kind of flavors, like a apple cinnamon oatmeal flavor kind of in the beginning of it, with like sugar, molasses, and then just the smallest hit of vinegar. And then I would say it's like a medium sauce. Like I would say it's like probably like a 3 on my heat scale. But
so
slowly
like
building. This is
like a 5
delicious.
or 6 on a normal person's.
This is so good.
I'm excited. I'm gonna order some right after the podcast.
So good. It's a sweeter sauce. Like I think you're gonna be going like I would go pastries, I'd go breakfast, I'd go ice cream, I'd go, like I said, oatmeal. Like I'm going maybe like a pulled pork sandwich, that kind of thing, like that kind of sweetness maybe, like could be really tasty. That is a very good sauce.
Ooh, I'm excited.
They got a 9 out of 10 on their heat scale. This is not. I don't care who you are. This is not a 9 out of 10 on any.
Really?
And maybe if you've never had hot sauce before, like hard stop, but it's not that hot. It's hot, but it's not that.
It's like a medium.
It's the lower side of medium, I would say.
Oh, awesome.
And I did like a full probably tablespoon of it, and it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. What did you bring, Zach?
Today I got high spice sriracha.
Oh yeah, I've got that on my coffee table right now.
Focus. It's not going to focus.
That is an unbelievably good sriracha.
This is not the smoked. I did not care for the smoked. It was a little too smoky for me, but like salt, I am smoke sensitive.
You are wrong, and I'm sorry. But that sauce, the smoked sriracha is unbelievably delicious. The sriracha is good, but the smoked version of that is on a whole nother level.
Delicious.
That's top 3 srirachas in my opinion.
I've had that one. It's really good. It is really good.
Yeah, Zach's, Charman, and that one are probably the top 3 I've ever had.
Well, that wasn't mine. That was a chef out of Phoenix that we just collaborated with. It was his recipe. I would like to do another run with it, but that sauce was, you think the mole was a pain in the ass. Got to roast the peppers, and then it goes through 2 different blending processes, and then we had to push it all through a chinois.
Jesus.
Yeah, fuck that.
You just came up with the process that we need for our sauce. You did. That's
What?
exactly it. Yep. You just
I'm not
did.
doing it. You're on fucking drugs.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like having to go the extra mile with the process, that will make the sauce perfect consistency. You
see
know
his
I'm right.
face?
Yeah, I know, but you know I'm right.
I'm not doing it. I'm not pushing 20 gallons of sauce through a chinois, dude. I mean, 8 gallons. We only did an 8-gallon batch, and that shit took the 2 of us like fucking hours.
Let's do 10.
I can't.
What if I bought you a really good chinois?
Top of the line.
I still can't do 10. I have to run at least 20 gallons in that
Well,
cabinet.
that's why there's 2 people making the sauce. You got one process, and they got to come up with an equally other badass process.
There we go.
Yeah, you push all that sauce through the chinois all you want.
That mouthfeel, man, that's going to be a silky smooth.
Seriously, that'd be worth $100 right there.
There you go.
Here's the one I'm doing. Can you see it?
Paulman Acre.
Yeah.
Morel Revival.
Yeah,
Excellent
this
sauce.
is a really good sauce.
More mushrooms and sauce, in my opinion. Mushrooms and sauce need to be.
Mm.
That's an ingredient.
Oh,
Yeah, we're 100%. We were looking at them last night.
My only
Something
complaint
like that-
about this, it has more peppers, different peppers than I would like. I'd like to have that more distinct pepper flavor from 1 or 2 rather than 3 or 4.
So are you tasting the peppers?
Yeah, I can
So-
taste them. But they've got like 4, I think 4 or 5. And
What are the peppers?
It is habanero, Fresno, Scotch bonnet, and Savina.
Oh,
So-
habanero with the exception of the Fresno.
Yeah. And I just feel like you get a little bit more when you have less. I'd love to be able to taste that Savina a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm wondering why they went with 3 different versions of kind of this in a way, they kind of the same pepper.
But it's a very minor complaint, and I don't even call it a complaint. I always, when I make a meal for my wife, instead of saying, do you like that or do you don't, it's hard for people to answer that. I always say, what would you change about this? That's what I would change about it, but that's it. Everything else is perfect. It's
I'm
fantastic
pretty
sauce.
sure Tim usually ferments his pepper blends as well before process, so it kind of
I think you're right.
flavors of those peppers a little bit,
Yeah.
and I think that's why he does it.
For me,
I generally don't like fermented sauces, and I don't know why. Like I like kombuchas, I like fermented things, but for some reason, like it's not like I dislike all fermented hot sauce, but a lot of fermented hot sauces, like I don't know what it does to the flavor, but it's something that kind of takes it away from me for some reason, and I'm not sure why.
I think people overdo it. Just like anything that they like, where they'll overdo smoke or they'll overdo whatever they're doing, they'll just put it a step too far because they're so into it.
Yeah, it changes something about it that I just don't enjoy as much sometimes. It's not all the time, but sometimes.
Yeah, I can understand that, and I actually think I agree.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I like Tim sauces, but they're not like fermented to the point where they have to be refrigerated all the time. He then thermally processes.
Oh,
them.
I love Tim sauces. He's one of my favorite makers. Like absolutely incredible.
that which is barely a hot sauce, but the nopales sauce is.
Oh my god!
I keep talking about it. I'm just going to keep talking about it forever. It's just so good.
So good.
So, and this one, man, and we were just talking about Morels last night. I can, because we're in the Pacific Northwest. People are trying to give me Morels all the time.
Oh man, I wish I came up there. I make a green bean casserole for Thanksgiving every year, and it's like I take it very seriously.
Yes, he does.
And I use Morels in my green bean casserole.
Ooh, that sounds good.
But I pay way too much money for them. They're so expensive.
Do you use fresh or dried?
Fresh. I normally, it's a combination of shiitake and then morels, and then normally I will do, for like the most part, and then whatever kind of interesting mushroom that I can normally get fresh, but I do all fresh.
If I get hit up in the next, you said you do it for Christmas?
Thanksgiving.
If I get hit up in the next month by anybody, I'll make sure and see what I can get.
I will happily trade you all day and make it worth your while.
Absolutely. That sounds good.
Hand slices and fries, fucking 10 pounds of shallots.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
We made it last year. It's fucking delicious.
It's so good.
We took it to the wrong venue though. We took it to her cousin's house, and they're like definitely not like foodies. So they just ate the classic green bean with the pre-French fried onions and, canned green beans.
There's there's a time and place for all of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey man, we've done the boxed Thanksgiving on more than one occasion.
Same way. That's what I grew up on. That's what I grew up on.
Dana and I have intentionally like gone out of our way and gone to the grocery store and got the stovetop, the jarred gravy. Like,
I love it.
Yeah,
there's I hate to say this. This is a bit of a hot take, but I would say that's as good as any of the really good ones.
Yeah,
but only if you're going all in. If you're going all in on a boxed Thanksgiving, I don't know.
I think you're right.
Something about it. But if you have a mix, then I'm always going to be going to the really good stuff.
Nostalgia is extremely important, extremely powerful, so it's got to be whatever you grew up on, whatever your mom's thing is. Like growing in Buffalo, my mom makes her own makes this chicken wing recipe, and if I were to give my mom's chicken wings to most people, they would probably not like them at all. And because it's a super simple recipe, it's like this is like your mom's cooking. It's ketchup, butter, Frank's, and brown sugar. Those are the only ingredients in her sauce.
Oh yeah.
And there's nothing special about it, but it's just like a nostalgia factor,
So somebody's selling that as a hot sauce right now, I'm sure.
You're right.
And if they weren't, they are now.
I know, right?
You heard our thing about sauce and sauce?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Frank's, you see that so often because they don't have to add any salt either because Frank's has got so much salt in it.
Yep. Oh, I know.
How do you feel about that? I mean, obviously you don't like it, but what's your take on that? If you had somebody send you something like that, would you review it?
Yeah, okay, so yeah, not necessarily a hot take, but there's only one sauce that I enjoy that they've done it, and that's in DEF CON's wing sauce.
It's a wing sauce though, so it's
a wing sauce. And so they would admit it, like it's not the cleanest label in any way, like ingredient list. It's one of the ingredients is hot sauce, but it's a wing sauce. But I love those sauces so much. It is the best wing sauce I've ever had. It is absolutely delicious. Yeah.
But it's not a hot sauce. It's typically a wing sauce is typically Frank's and butter or something along those lines. It's hot sauce in other shit. So
yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But yeah, as far as like hot sauce in hot sauce, I guess then, and not a wing sauce, no, I probably wouldn't.
We've got a running theme of different things, tub makers, that kind of thing. With you on here, we should ask you about that. Zac, that's your thing that you were talking about. So how do you feel about reviewers reviewing people that aren't necessarily on the up and up in their hot sauce?
Are you talking about like being legal?
Yeah. Reviewers
I try to avoid that at all costs now. The longer I've been doing it, the more I realize how important that is to be doing that. The only times that you'll ever basically now, unless it's unintentional, you'll see me review a sauce that's not FDA approved and not super legit, is if it's from like a friend of mine that made the sauce and I know exactly who made it, where it came from, and I'll be very outright. Like my buddy Jake Cole, I talk about all the time on my channel, and he makes like a mustard in his kitchen, but I know that he knows what he's doing. He's not doing anything gnarly, and Jake
likes to reach out to me and ask questions a lot. So
Jake's an awesome
good.
Guy.
Yeah, that's really
he's
good.
An awesome guy. But I'll say, like, my friend Jake made this in his kitchen. It's not for sale kind of thing. And I'm just doing this because I'm genuinely interested in the product, but you can't purchase it. But as far as like doing a video on a hot sauce when you're not FDA approved and you're just like making random crap in your kitchen.
Oh yeah, and sending shit across state lines.
Yeah, no, I will never intentionally do that any longer because I think it's really important to the industry for people to do their homework, to become fully legal. There's too many companies that spend too much money doing it the right way for people to be doing it the wrong way and be doing stuff illegal and potentially hurting people. So I'm not going to do it.
You see a lot of that on the Facebook group.
Yeah,
people.
I don't
not
think
as much anymore.
It's going to be like unintentional ignorance and or like just not knowing how important it is. Because I was the same way when I started my channel. Like I didn't understand. And the longer I've been doing this, I've realized how important it is, and I've been just adapting and kind of controlling that much more closely nowadays.
Have you ever gotten sick from a hot sauce?
No, but I've had some sauces that I didn't eat because I didn't like the way that it looked.
I have.
You really?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Twice.
I've never gotten sick, but I think twice now I opened a bottle on camera and I cut the video and didn't include it because it was like fermenting in the bottle and it was bubbling twice.
Oh yeah. No.
And no bueno. Not doing that.
You got sick from hot sauce?
I'll reach out to the company and I'll tell them what happened.
Yeah.
And
that's good.
And then what happens at that point is I stop the video and I don't upload that video. And then I contact the sauce maker and I let them know what's going on. And then I will revisit it at a later date at that point.
That's really good.
Because I don't really trust their entire process at that point until I hear back about what's going on. Like I want to hear the whole story. Because I mean, it could be unintentional. There could be a co-packer involved. There could be who knows what's going on. You never know what's going on. So I'm not going to fault anybody until I learn.
That's a great way to do it.
So, fine.
Awesome. Well, is there any questions you have for me and Zac?
Yeah, there's one. And this is an important one. All right. So there's a whole bunch of people that eat a bunch of hot sauce on the internet, like me, and a bunch of people like me. And you guys being the hot sauce makers, there's got to be something that we screw up constantly, or I screw up specifically if I screw it up. And don't do something in our videos or say something all the time that's just wrong or whatever. Like I want to know like all your hot takes against me and anybody who reviews stuff so that we can fix our process.
Oh, I mean, not you specifically, but like we just mentioned, I'm personally kind of tired of people with a semi-decent following on whether it be YouTube, TikTok, not doing their homework and continuing to review sauces from illegal people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they'll throw up like a link or tag them and say, hey, this is where you can get the sauce. And it makes me fucking crazy. I try not to let it bother me because I wasn't always legal myself. But the second someone reached out to me and said, hey, you're not doing this right, I fucking shut my company down and got legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to be that guy that got somebody sick. You have that kind of conscience. There's a lot of people that don't, though. They just don't care.
Yeah, I couldn't live with myself if I did something like that. It's scary, So I mean, I'll let you guys make the sauce.
Well, I think that is it. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Brian. We'd love to have you back another time.
Yeah, it was my absolute pleasure. I will talk about hot sauce all day, every day. So, and like I said, I'm a huge fan of the podcast. So I will happily.
Sounds great. All right, have a good one. I forgot to ask what the hottest thing but you've eaten so many hot things. There's probably no way to quantify that. Like
the Vegas situation, those atomic wings or whatever.
That's not the hottest thing I've ever had. That was just me being an idiot. So
is that the same thing?
Well, yeah. So they're out of business. It's called Wing King in Las Vegas, and he had like a wing challenge. I went there to do like just a taste test, like one video, and all of a sudden, like restaurants standing up to watch me do this thing. So I'm like, all right, I got to do this challenge. And he says that his wings are 9 million Scoville with no extracts in them, and so I'm like, oh, of course they are, and which is not physically possible. Yeah. And then the second I tasted one, it's like the most bitter thing in the world. So I think what he just used is like it's a standard wing sauce with just like a huge dollop of plutonium #9 in it. And I did it on an empty stomach because I thought like I could do it on an empty stomach. I can, get all these wings down, and then I'll eat dinner. This is right at the beginning of my channel. And I had never cramped hard before. And after I eat them, I kind of feel like I had the flu. And I cramped for 36 hours.
Oh.
And it was so hot, I was sweating spice. I've never sweated it before. And so my sweat was spicy. And so I was dying in a Las Vegas hotel room. And every time the cramps would hit, I would just be like, it would like the kind of cramps that take you out of your chair where you fall to the ground. And I'd be like in a pile of sweat on the ground dying. And then that spice would be sweaty. And then it would leave me alone for 15 minutes and then back on. And then that was the next 36 hours of my life.
So
goodness.
The hottest thing Brian's ever put in his mouth is a tincture from Inferno Farms.
Yeah, lime lament. It's made with 16 million cap crystals.
Oh.
It's basically just a tincture made of cap crystals and then lime extract in there for a little bit of flavor.
Was that a recent video?
No, it's maybe 2 or 3 years old.
Maybe it just popped up. I think I saw it and I didn't end up clicking on that one for some reason. I've watched a lot of
But one drop was panic mode. I did it off camera the first time just to see what I was getting myself into. And I was like, let's do a drop and see how hot it is. And I was like running around, I was like walking around my office, like, what can I be drinking right now? Like, this is insane. It was unbelievable how hot this shit was. Like,
how long did it last?
But I don't know what his process is, but all of his tinctures evaporate immediately. Like,
That's good.
that thing turned, now it's just sitting there. It's just a pile of cap crystals in the bottom, and after like a month.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Oh,
it only lasts-
I thought you meant the heat evaporated immediately.
No.
Oh no.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I'm going to go hang out with my son for an hour and draw some pictures.
I got a lot of work to do. So thanks, guys.
There you go.
All
Thank
right.
you. Have
Later,
a good
later.
one,
All
Brian.
right. Bye.
Bye. Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers, was brought to you by Irish Spike's Unique Hot Sauces, High Desert Sauce Co., and Vandal Pepper Sauces. This is a Spike Mine Media production.